Live streamed.
All right.
Almost, DH.
Yep, we just got the notification.
Okay. Got it. Yep, I'm back. All right, here we go. They have been best friends since childhood, played the same sports, attended the same schools, and now they even teach together. You're listening to DC and DH on the D&D Dynamite 80s podcast. So guys, take it away.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into another episode of D&D Dynamite 80s. I'm DH.
I am DC.
And we're here. We usually take another fantastic look back at the 80s, but we have a unique interview tonight I'm excited about. I've been kind of excited about this one all week, DC.
Yes, sir.
So instead of me asking you how your week is, which I was going to ask, and all that, the only question I want to know is, are we meeting at Waffle House in the morning? And then I'm going to throw it over to you and let's get it started.
Yes, sir. Yes, we'll do our post interview at the Waffle in the morning.
Well, hold on a second. What are you getting at Waffle House? Like, what are you guys eating?
I get that Texas sausage toast sandwich and a cup of coffee. This is my cheat. I have caffeine one day a week, and that's it. So
go big.
Yeah. That's right. I do. I take care of that. I go a little bigger than that. But no, my week has gone pretty well so far since we've only had one school day this week because of the ice.
It's been a unique, yes.
So the last 2 days of being off has been awesome. So yeah, I guess it's time to go back. Oh shucks. So
yeah, time to get started again. So.
Right. Yeah, they'll be thrilled as I will be, I think. All right.
I'm sure.
We are joined tonight by actress Amy Simon. She's joining us from the beautiful state of North Carolina. Lived very close to North Carolina, right on the border of Tennessee and North Carolina for about 26 years I did? Something like that.
Yeah, right in that time
right
frame.
to Smoky
yes,
Mountains, yeah.
Definitely.
So beautiful area, and we appreciate her taking some time with us, and we're going to talk about a few different things. Amy, how are you?
I'm doing great. I was wondering why you were wearing that Tennessee hat.
Yeah, I was right there amongst the volunteers there for a good long time. So but we both grew up Tennessee fans. We lived there all our lives. So there you go.
And Amy, I'm going to throw a little more out. He said actress, but also, I mean, you've been a TV host, lifestyle model, voiceover talent. I mean, it's just your jobs seem limitless on here. You just continue doing more and more stuff. So thank you for taking the time to join us tonight, first off.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I love that. I love the 80s. So
well, that's gonna lead me to my first question that I've decided this is gonna be my first question from now on. Van Halen or Motley Crue?
I knew it was coming.
Oh. Did you
say it again, DH?
Yep, Van Halen or Motley Crue, which is your favorite?
Well, being that I just saw Vince Neil not too long ago when I was in Nashville, I'm gonna have to go with Motley Crue.
Okay.
So I got some stories. I don't.
Yeah. There you go. There you go.
Really nice. My friend was like, "You want to come meet Vince?" And I was like, "Okay." I went over. Hi, super nice guy, probably lives a totally different life now. But yeah.
I think we all live a totally different life than in the 80s now.
Well, that works, DH. I didn't wear last week, Amy, to let you in on what we're talking about. Last week I wore the Van Halen shirt and got X'd on that again. So our guest last week had a Motley Crue shirt on. She had a Motley Crue shirt on. So I had the Van Halen shirt on. I don't tonight. I got the Journey. I'm representing Journey tonight.
Oh my gosh, Journey.
Guns N' Roses here.
I knew it. I knew it without asking.
Chris was in concert here in Raleigh maybe a year ago. That was amazing. But I do want to say that I worked on a film in Miami like 10 years ago called Rock of Ages, and it was all 80s music.
Oh wow!
And the reason I worked on it was because it was all 80s music. I just worked as an extra, but oh my gosh, it was like Debbie Gibson, Sebastian Bach, Nuno, and Nuno. Nuno from the band Extreme. Let's see, who else was there? Kevin Cronin from REO Speedwagon.
Yes.
All these people that I met. And then they actually did like a little concert for like lunch that was like 2 a.m. That was our lunch at 2 a.m. Anyway. This room with Tom Cruise, Catherine Zeta-Jones, all the main actors and actresses, and me. And they do this little concert. Kevin Cronin from REO Speedwagon, Sebastian, Debbie Gibson, and Nuno from Extreme. They get up and they sing like 5 love ballads from the 80s. And I'm like,
wow,
that is so cool.
And so I go up after they do their songs or whatever. And I walk up to Kevin Cronin and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I love your music.
Yes.
Oh, and he goes, we make music for pretty girls like you. And I was like,
well, he makes it for old ball guys too, because I caught them, oh gosh, 2 or 3 years ago in Nashville when they came through. It was an outdoor amphitheater, and man, I am sure glad that I got a chance to see them. I've seen them along with Styx. Tommy Shaw lives in Nashville as well, so
okay,
yeah. So that was fantastic.
Nashville.
Yeah, it's a happening place. That's
it
for
is,
sure.
yes.
It's a busy place.
I was right outside of Nashville in a little tiny town called Leapers Fork.
Yes.
So
yes, know it well. Yep.
Moving there, and so it's this little tiny town, and here's his red Lamborghini or whatever it was. Kind of stands out. Nicest guy though.
Wow.
That's cool.
I want to go with this one next, but I'm gonna do a little lead into it. Matter of fact, I think I told DH this the other night when he checked in with me. He has to check in with me, make sure that I'm staying on track with doing my research and stuff. And I was. I watched the whole entire thing of Blackwater.
What'd you think?
It was a good show.
Interesting.
And it led me into this question that I wanted to ask you about. Because is it difficult to play part that has nothing to do whatsoever with your personality? Is that harder or easier?
Well, the thing is, I was a single mom in that film.
Yeah.
The locket that I wore, the heart locket that I wore in the film, my grandma.
Don't tell me that was yours.
It was mine.
Oh wow. Okay. Isn't that something?
Me. So a lot of projects that I do, I wear something that my grandma gave me. So I'll wear a bracelet or a necklace, brooch, or something that she gave me. So inside that locket was a picture of my daughter.
Wow, that's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and I don't think in the actual the version of it that I watched, you opened it, but you couldn't really see the picture of the details.
Yeah, it's a picture of my.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
That was the first time I had ever done a feature film.
Yeah.
I've done anything like that, and they had auditioned girls all the way up the East Coast of Florida. They went to I don't know how many different agencies to audition girls for that film. And my agent at Boca Talent, Natalie, she called me in to come read for come meet the director and the producers or whatever. And I was like, okay. I had no idea what was going on. I was like, sure. This was 16 years ago, almost 16 years ago.
Yeah.
So I just went in.
2007. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I went in and met with them and just kind of talked, and she was like, hey, they want you to audition. And I'm like, okay. So we had to go out into the Everglades, in Florida. I drove out there. There was 3 other girls that were auditioning for my part.
And then Megan, I believe, right?
I was Megan. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it just kind of blew my mind because I had never had acting experience like that. The other girl was a really qualified actress. And then the other girl that showed up was just like drop dead beautiful Barbie doll. And I was like, I don't have a chance and I'm not getting this job, But I think the director liked me because I was from Kentucky,
Yeah.
and he
Yeah.
from Kentucky, and we were talking about fishing and hunting and Kentucky stuff.
Ah, okay.
He just kind of thought, yeah, this girl will do a good job. So
Okay.
that was
Okay.
So
Now, you were okay, so you were more this part, but the one where you were selling the kilos, that I know that's not you, so
Are you
there's
talking
the question again
about
for you.
Sessions of a Thug, or which movie was that?
Um, that's a good question.
I think it
You're
was the
you have the sister that the scene that I looked at was where you were in a living room. A couple of gentlemen were in the room with you, and you were going to sell. They were going to buy all the kilos or something.
Confessions of a Thug. That
Thank
was
you.
my the first film premiere that I had ever gone to, and it was
Hmm.
in Harlem at the Magic Johnson Theater in
Wow.
Harlem. And I'll just have a quick story about that because I got stories about all this. But anyway, I flew up to New York, because I wanted to see the big film premieres. First film I'd ever did, even though I had a little small part in that film.
Hmm.
So I flew up there and stayed at a friend's apartment and took the subway to Harlem. I'm like 27
Wow.
now. I
Right.
don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
I'm in,
yeah. Not a New York City girl.
yeah, I'm in like my dress and my heels, and I get off the subway in Harlem.
I got you.
And this guy just makes like a beeline, like right towards me. And he's just like, "What are you doing here?" And I'm like, I have a film premiere at the Magic Johnson Theater. And he goes, "Okay." And he's like looking around all sketchy, He goes, "I'm going to walk you there so you don't get killed." Who's going to walk? And I was like, "I don't
Gosh.
know.
Yeah.
Where am
Yeah.
I?" What's going? And
Yeah.
that guy, I don't know, I think he was my angel, walked me like 5 blocks to the theater.
And that's
Made
something.
sure that I met up with people and said, "Are you walking her back?" And they said, "Yeah, we are." I don't even know who it was. I tried to give him money. He wouldn't take it. He's like, "I just didn't want you to get hurt." And I was
Right.
like, "Wow,
That's awesome.
I have no clue. Where am I?"
Right.
Yeah.
So, Amy, one of the things I kind of wonder is how did the getting into the voiceover, how did that come about?
Hmm.
Really, it just kind of started with doing hosting shows, like infomercial type. Where am I? 30-minute show. And so I would have to do voiceover for that. I did a lot of car commercials. So I would do like their radio spots for them. And, that's kind of how it started. Just kind of went from there. Yeah.
Oh wow.
One thing leads to another,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I understand this right, or read this, or you've talked about it in a video I saw or something. You have one daughter, I
Mm-hmm.
believe. Okay.
Yeah.
She have any kind of acting aspirations at all?
No.
Wow.
I
Okay.
graduated
Okay.
Appalachian State in May.
Right.
Be graduating. And when she was little, she did a couple Disney shoots with me, Toys R Us, Babies R Us. She's done commercials. She has an IMDb credit. She was in a film when she was about 3
Isn't
years
that
old.
something? Wow.
Yeah, she was actually really wonderful. But when she was about 9, she didn't want to do it. And that's my advice for a lot of parents, because I do coaching now for kids and
Yes, that was the next thing I was going to say. Yeah.
yeah, want to get into modeling and
Yeah.
acting. They want to do this, because if they don't, you can't make them. If they don't want to be comes across on camera, it's not good for anybody. So once she kind
Yeah.
of decided to do it anymore, that was it. I was like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
My heart, I was like, "Oh, come on, please." She didn't do it, and I'm not going to make
Yeah.
her.
Yeah. That's what I was going to ask you. I know I was going to ask you if it kind of stung, for that to take place for you or not.
Oh,
Because yeah, we had Diane Franklin on a few weeks ago, and her daughter is in the acting business as well. And,
Okay.
she was very, very proud of that. Like, yeah, she wanted to kind of follow in it, and I'm glad she did. My son doesn't. He's a musician. He does his thing, but anyway, yeah. I was just
Actually,
curious if
yeah,
it kind of bothered you that she didn't, or you good with that,
I'm
that she
good
went a
with what
different direction.
she
Yeah,
wants to do. And
sure,
she's
sure.
great at psychology, and she's
That's
like
awesome.
she's my therapist. She's she's very quiet, and
Yeah,
she's a learner, and she observes, and she thinks about things rationally, where I'm just more of a let's go get it done, type.
yeah, yeah.
She's doing what's right for her.
Fantastic.
One of the things, Amy, I read about was you're now part of your or one of your roles is a modeling coach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So how did that transition? How did you decide on that transition and to follow that area?
Well, basically, a lot of these jobs that I go on here in North Carolina, it's a lot of lifestyle shoots, a lot of furniture shoots, products, stuff like that. And a lot of time when I show up on these shoots, the photographers will just say, like, oh my gosh, like you're a professional, you know what you're doing. Like, we wish you could show other girls how to do this. I'm like, what are you talking about? If you're hiring a model, they should know what they're doing. And they're like, no, a lot of times these girls don't know what they're doing. So I'm like, okay. So I started doing these modeling workshops. Mostly it's for kids and teens that want to get started. I just show them how to pose, how to move. They get some pictures. It's a confidence builder. I love, to me, it's not about looks or appearance. To me, it's about being confident in yourself. And so these classes are so fun because I can see it in their face. They know they look good, they feel good, and that's all I really want for them. A lot of them, sometimes they don't even want to get into modeling. Their mom signed them up or whatever.
Sure, sure.
But have some beautiful pictures and they had a great time. And but most of the people that I do work with, they do end up getting agents and they do move on. But the workshops are just fun for me. I like teaming up with local photographers that want to do it as well. And we just want the best for everybody. So we want it's girls and guys. We just want them to feel good about themselves, get some really good pictures. Whether they move forward or not, that's up to them. I can help them, but I can't, make them do anything.
Sure.
Now, I have to ask what your reaction would be if you're holding one of these sessions and you see
I
two
know where you're
old
going.
ball guys walking.
Well, first of all, that would be the challenge of the century.
Yeah.
To have us in anything other than two old farts sitting on a bench somewhere with no speaking part.
Yeah.
I could do that.
I will say that, guys that I've worked with are in their late 40s, late 50s.
So there's hope.
There's hope.
No, there's not.
No, I'm fooling myself.
Great about this industry is it's changing. It's changing a lot, and so it's more inclusive. It's diversified. It's like it's all over the place now.
Yeah.
It used to had to be 5'8" and a size 4. Now you can be 5'2" and a size 10. I mean, it's all over the place now. And one of the guys that I coached, he's 55. He's semi-retired. He was like, I've always wanted to try this. What do I do? And so I did a few coaching sessions with him. I did a few coaching sessions with him. I, helped him tape some auditions, and he booked his very first audition. He booked it. He booked the job.
Cool.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That doesn't happen a lot, by the way. And then another guy.
Forget it. Even though we're 55 DH, forget it.
No.
She had us up there feeling pretty good, and then yeah,
No.
I got you. That makes perfect sense. Yeah.
I love it when people just say like, "Hey, I want to try this. I've always wanted to try this. What do I do?" I help them, and they start booking jobs, and they love it, and they're so happy, and like, it makes me so happy. I'm like, I told you, you can do this. Like, it's not for a certain look or a certain age, or it's not. It's all over the place. Like, look at some of the films. I really like the guys, the two brothers that are in Georgia. They do a lot of Christian films. Alex and shoot, I can't remember their name. They did Facing the Giants and Fireproof.
Yes.
The Kindred brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You look at people in films, they're everyday average people.
They're fantastically done.
So
by the
So
way.
DC,
Yeah.
what I'm taking from this is I still have a shot.
That's
Very
right.
slim.
I have a chance.
Slim to none, and Slim left town.
Yeah, and Slim left.
Oh, DH, this kind of leads me to the next thing. You know what she's kind of leading into right here with the coaching that she's talking about? That's the same thing that we do. Where you
Definitely.
feel
That's why
good
I asked.
about leading a kid, in our situation, to follow that dream of whatever you want to do.
Yes.
Don't give up on it, that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
where I was going with that question was this: that's a teaching role that you're doing, obviously. What kind of feelings do you get from that? That's got to make you feel great.
I absolutely love it because I
Yeah.
want people to realize like they can do a lot more than they think they can.
Mm.
And just to see like their little wins and successes makes me really happy. I'm happy for them, all of them. I have a guy that I coached last week. He's 40. He's going into full-time like coaching, life coach, but he wanted to get into modeling and acting. And I was like, here's what you do. I took his pictures. We sent them in. He's got an interview next week with the agency. And he's like so stoked about it. And I'm like, I told you can do this. Like, it's not how it used to be. Anybody can try this. There's an investment. There is an investment there. You got to take workshops, classes, get your pictures, do all the things. But if I always feel like if God gave you that dream or that desire, it's there for a reason.
Yeah.
So you need to find a way to do it,
Make it happen. Yeah.
My only part of that, if it came to pictures, I would have to use the ones that already come in the frames. I think I would have a better opportunity with that.
And claim they're you.
Don't, one time, and there's a lot of models are married. There's a lot of couples that met like in Germany or France or wherever they're modeling. They're young, and so anyway, I worked with a lot of those people when I was in Miami for like 15 years, and I had went and bought like this frame, and there was the little picture in the frame, and it was this couple that I knew in Miami.
That you knew.
So I saw the guy on an audition one day. I was like, hold on a second. I'm like, I have a frame in my car. And I'm just going to give it to you. And he's like, what? I'm like, hold on. So I get out, I go to my car.
And it's them.
It's already.
Isn't that something?
That's awesome.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I'm still friends with them on Facebook and stuff, but it's a fun career. Meet a lot of really cool people all over the country, all over the world.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Back to a question about the 80s for you.
Okay.
Here we go.
All right. If you could play a role in any 80s movie, what would it be and why would you choose that particular character?
All right. Good question.
I'm trying to think back to the 80s. Okay.
Yeah.
What Adventures in Babysitting? Is that from the 80s?
Mm-hmm.
It was.
Elizabeth Shue.
Yep.
So that was one of my favorite movies ever. And I loved her. Like she played the girl next door. And I feel like that's kind of my character, what I would play.
Right.
And everything she was in was wonderful. So that's one of my favorite movies. So I guess I would say Adventures in Babysitting.
Okay.
And I don't know if you guys watched Cobra Kai.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. Every minute of it.
Well, it took a minute. My older brother kept telling me, like, you got to watch Cobra Kai. And I'm like, whatever, man. Watch Cobra Kai. Then I turn it on and I'm like, I can't turn this show off. Like, And she shows up in one of the episodes. I was like, there's no way they're going to get Elizabeth Shue. There she is.
There she was. Yeah. They brought back several folks that I thought wouldn't be there be on there.
A quick story about that too. So about 5 or 6 years ago, maybe 7, I don't know. I was shooting a commercial in Michigan. So I booked this commercial with my very first modeling agency in Cincinnati, Heyman Talent. But the commercial was shooting in Michigan. So I meet the other talent and we're hanging out. We're kind of getting along. And then he's like, do you want to go to dinner tonight? And I'm like, I guess. So, we go to dinner. And we were like listening to music afterwards or whatever, 80s music, of course. And he goes, my brother's getting ready to do a remake of like Karate Kid. And I was like, who's your brother? And he's like, William Zabka. He was Johnny in Karate Kid. And I was
right.
Cool. This is like 7 or 6. I was like, cool. That's cool. I hope it goes well. It's like the freaking #1 show on Netflix.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's one of the main reasons.
Well, it's all because you wished it went well. So that's why they're successful.
That's what did it. Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, he ended up like marrying.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. We had, I want to say, Johnny's not right. Johnny Vidal. What was? Oh, I've lost my train of thought. Last name's Vidal. He was actually in the original movie. He was one of the last guys in the tournament that took on Johnny Lawrence, who was William Zabaka.
Yeah.
I can't remember. He played himself.
He actually
was it Miguel?
Yes, I think.
No, that ain't right. Anyway, his last name's Daryl. Daryl Vidal.
Daryl, yes. Daryl.
I'm sorry, Daryl. If you're out there listening, I apologize, man.
Hey, we're
Daryl
old,
Vidal,
man.
and that was an awesome interview. He, if you remember on the original movie poster, where Mr. Miyagi's doing the crane technique out on the beach, and actually in the film, the same thing, where he's actually on one of the posts on the beach doing the crane technique. They actually dressed Daryl Vidal up. He came up with that move. So that it's cool stuff to get the little inside tidbits and all that. But yeah, Daryl teaches karate out there and is, I don't know, way up into that stuff. So anyway, good dude, and we appreciated him coming on. But yeah, he gave us a lot of cool stuff about the actual, the original Karate Kid stuff, which was pretty
cool. Yeah.
And
do what?
Go ahead.
I said you never know, like what films are just going to be like a cult classic,
Yeah.
But who knew?
Right.
And one of the cool things about the 80s is there were so many different genres of music, and people pretty much listened to all of it. So I'm going to put you on the spot here. What was your favorite genre, and who was your favorite artist in that genre?
Oh gosh. I wish I had this like written down before I did this. Well, okay, you guys are gonna think I'm a little nerdy, but I love Lionel Richie. When I was growing up, my mom always listened to Warm 98, which is like soft rock channel, car. And so I just grew up with soft rock 80s, so Lionel Richie is one of my favorite.
Yeah, sure.
Like all of these like soft, like love ballads. Those are my favorite.
Well, here's the thing. That's perfect because, here we could debate this. I don't think it's much of a debate though. Without Lionel Richie in the 80s, it would have been a different scenario.
Right?
I mean, that's how much he had an impact on that decade. In my opinion.
I'm a big fan of Richard Marx too. And I listened to like a podcast with Richard Marx. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that he like did some singing on Lionel Richie's albums back in the day.
Yeah, he was a background singer. He got discovered.
I mean, he tells this story about in the studio with Lionel, and like they couldn't get this one chord right, they couldn't get this one line right, and then Richard Marx gets out there and sings it, and they're like, and Lionel's like, "Yeah, that's it." And I'm like, "What?"
Right. There you go. Yeah.
So those are my favorites. Whitney Houston.
Sure.
I think Whitney Houston is hands down one of the most gorgeous, talented people that ever existed. I think she blows away anybody else. My opinion.
Well, yeah, there you go. Well, Amy has looked at my cheat sheet here because she may be a psychic too. I don't know. Because let me read the next question I was going to ask you. If you got to hang out with some 80s bands or solo artists, who would they be and why? So you just answered that without even knowing the question.
Yeah. But as she started off like as a gospel singer. I think just her stage presence, she just glowed. She just looked like an angel. She was beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes.
The range she had, and just, I don't know, it was just her presence. I'm like, you just can't.
And she, the talent in that family was amazing. Now I think Dionne Warwick, is an aunt of hers,
and CeCe Winans maybe
is the mother, and they actually now DH, you may know this, being the Elvis guy that you are, like I am. They both performed with Elvis at one time. What was the group that he had? Sweet Inspirations. They were kind of the center of that
I didn't know that
group. So so I think both of them at some point did backup singing with Elvis performing.
I did not know that. I do have, Amy, I have one last 80s question from my side.
Okay.
And I bet she guesses it.
This is going to be the best answer ever for any 80s question. Out of all the 80s podcasts out there today, which is your favorite?
Oh my gosh, you guys, of course. I mean, come on.
See, there you go.
Question?
Oh man. That was a setup question.
Hey, I'll take it any way we can get it. I'll take that.
Right. You're exactly right. And hey, this leads nicely into the next one for you. Why do you think this 80s stuff for all generations is still hanging around to be popular? I mean, we got high school kids that know word for word on some songs, and I'm blown away by that.
Yeah, she's 21. She listens to it. I think because those songs had meaning. They were love songs that you just felt something when you listened to them. That's what I listen to every morning when I get in the shower. I'm listening to 80s. I'm listening to Richard Marx, Whitney Houston, Lionel Richie, and some and some Paula Abdul and whatever, like all the stuff I grew up with.
Sprinkled in,
And the DND podcast.
Yes. You were doing a photo shoot the other day, and I noticed there was 80s music in the background, which was pretty cool.
You know what? Because the photographers always ask, like, what do you want to listen to?
Yeah.
And even when I did a shoot in New York, I guess I was back in May, but they're like, what do you want to listen to? And, the photographers are like 20 years old. And like, there's all these kids. I'm like, Lionel Richie. And they're like, put it on.
Did that guy sing? Yeah. That's some of their comments.
I think my favorite comment from one of our students ever was, and I can't remember the artist's name of today, but they did a collaboration with Ozzy Osbourne, and they're like, this guy's going to make Ozzy Osbourne's name famous. And I'm like, oh, wow.
Dude, he's already famous. Yeah. Where you're out to lunch.
Yeah.
Amazing. Amy, what do you got in the near future and currently that you're working on other than the photo shoots? Oh, by the way, I took that plug off there. We said hello to you there while you were in doing your deal. We popped in on the live feed that you did and left you a message. You said hi, DND Dynamite 80s or something, and so I was like, yes, she gave us a little promo there. We love it. So that's when I heard the 80s in the background when you went live there.
Oh, heck yeah. I'm doing a modeling workshop March 5th in Durham, North Carolina. That's going to be just an intro into modeling, like how to get your digitals and then how to submit those to an agent so you can get an agent. Other than that, I'm doing some coaching, which I can do one-on-one. I do calls, I do Zoom, or I meet with people in person if they live locally. And the next thing up is I'll be hosting an infomercial with a product probably in the next few weeks. So I've been doing the infomercials and stuff for 15 years, pitching products online. I love it. It's a lot of fun. So, and that's a local company here in Raleigh that I'll be production company that I'll be with. And then after that, it's kind of like all up in the air. Like I audition all the time, and I kind of never know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
kind of like us with this show.
We don't have a clue what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. It's that's
We got something in common.
Yeah.
DH.
Amy, if you would you tell our listeners where they can find you at and how to follow you and get all the information they can?
Yeah. Well, you can go to the Amy Simon TV on Instagram. I had to start a new one. Unfortunately, I got hacked with 30,000 followers. So I had to start a new one. So it's the Amy Simon TV. And then
very well put together, by the way.
Yes.
Thank you. And I have a website, amysimon.tv. And if anybody needs to get a hold of me, they can email me, and it's amysimon.tv@gmail.com. So I try to keep it pretty simple.
So do we. We have to have it that way for us.
Keep it simple so people can find me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or Google Amy Simon. They'll find me.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, can you hang there as we close out with our sponsors and all that good stuff?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. We would like to thank our sponsors, Hudson's Flags and More, veteran owned and operated, the Nesting Project of Smyrna, Tennessee, and our newest sponsor, PJG Marketing. You can find all these great folks online. Yes,
all
you
right.
can.
Yes, you can.
And I've got my flag from Hudson's Flags and More.
I see it over there in the corner. Yes.
Beautiful.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as always, if you like what you've seen here, make sure you go in and follow, like, share, tell everyone about it. Anything negative, send an email to DC. He takes
Wrong. You take all the negative comments.
You can find us on Anchor, Spotify, Breaker Radio, Radio Republic, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and in our website. And all of it is DND Dynamite 80s. So make sure you find us there, follow us, like us, share, and have some fun with us. And as I end it every week before I throw it over to DC, folks, remember it doesn't cost anything extra to be kind. So always be kind to each other.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Amy Simon, once again, we appreciate it. The best of your family, best of your career, all that's coming up for you. And if you would, please, if you'll send that workshop information our way, we'll be glad to post it and push it out.
Great. Thank you so much. It was awesome, guys. I love
Thank you,
it.
Amy.
Holler at us if you ever get to Nashville.
I have an agent there. So I'll book some more jobs there and be there soon.
Awesome. All right. Sounds good. Look forward to hopefully meeting you in person sometime.
That'd be great.
Okay. Once again, guys, thank you so much for checking in. Got another wonderful show next week. We're going back to the Dance Party USA days, Philadelphia 80s TV show that the teenagers had. We got one of the regulars that was a dancer on there. You know who did that show, by the way, and is a good friend of hers? Kelly Ripa. Kelly Ripa was on that show. Pretty cool. So anyway, we'll catch up and learn more about that stuff next week. And as I always say, keep playing them 80s.
See you next week.
See you. Bye, Amy. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy.
Bye. Thank you.